Working with twin needles or double needles on the Pfaff sewing machines is fun because once you set it up and tell the machine that you've got a much wider needle on than just a single needle, the machine will do the rest for you and you can have a lot of fun with decorative stitches. Now you can also use it for pin tucks if you have a pin tuck foot, and also for that seam that you see on a hem of a t-shirt or sweatshirt, that those 2 rows of stitches, you can simulate that with a twin needle. So before we even go to put one on, and I need to show you how to thread it as well, go into the settings of the machine and find where it says twin needle. You'll need to be on the first part here, twin needle, and then tell the machine what size of twin needle. You'll see like 2.0 or 4.0, and for decorative stitches, I will tell you, if you do the narrower one, you'll get more bang for your buck. So let's start there. So if we do 2.0 and then check mark, we're going to automatically see that the machine will show us what it's going to look like when we stitch with both those needles. So even just a touch of the button makes one stitch look totally much better, and it has reduced our stitch width from 9 millimeters down to 6. So what's going to happen is, make sure I don't go above 7, because 7 plus 2 equals 9. You go above that, your needle goes and hits the edge of the foot, which obviously we don't want. We can go ahead, and I do want to show you quick though. I have one thread already in the machine, and I'm going to add my next color. So we're going to just add this in. But I am going to unthread the machine completely because there is one part right near the top, right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put one thread on the left and one thread on the right of this little fin. That way each thread kind of gets its own tension. Okay, it does get its own tension. I'm going to make sure it gets nice and pulled in, maybe a little floss, and make sure those threads go all the way deep inside. Then I'm going to just put both the threads together and continue threading all the way down to the final guide at the top of the needle. Now here is where you do need to thread this yourself. When you put your twin needle in, your needle threader is not going to line up with either needle, so you're kind of on your own. So a handheld needle threader is not a bad idea to have. If you have a Pfaff serger, they come with those. Those are nice. Or head to your local sewing machine store and get one of those handheld ones, and you can push it right through. But for today, I'm going to just go ahead and give myself some nice clean ends and manually do this the old-fashioned way. I feel I always have to kind of appreciate my needle threader right here. I am going to lower the presser foot down just so I have a little bit more room and a little bit more light coming down at those eyes. Isn't that amazing how much we depend on our needle threaders, and we don't even think twice when we use them until we have to do it ourselves. All right, presser foot up. Usually what I'll do is take a few stitches just as a straight stitch. Make sure that I've threaded the machine right. Maybe I don't go all the way super fast. I just want to make sure everything sounds good, which it is. And now I can start jumping to some of those fun decorative stitches. Now your bobbin thread is going to just kind of do its own thing. It is going to kind of look like a zigzag, especially on the straight stitch. And how about as we kind of maybe jump around to some different stitches? Gosh, there is some amazing stitches that will look totally different, especially when you start to just select them and not even think twice about just sewing, because remember that setting, that will stay on even after you turn the machine off, and it will definitely go and keep it for next time you turn the machine on, which I do love with that part. Here, let's go ahead and find some fun stitches. This is one that, boy, does it not even look like the way it started. And with these two colors, we'll see what kind of stitching that we get with them. Now, let me show you. I mentioned that, oh, and your scissor button will work. So just go ahead and use that. If you're used to, it will cut both those threads. Obviously, I wasn't sewing very straight, but look at the detail that you can get with some of those decorative stitches. Now, even though I'm not going to switch the needle, I want to show you what it looks like with this exact same stitch if we had a 4.0 double needle. What it's going to do is let the stitches almost run a little bit more parallel to each other because the needles are further apart. It still has to limit the stitch width down. Now it's 9 minus 4, and that's why the max is 5, okay? And so as we pick these stitches, oh, and it might say that it's not recommended for a particular stitch. Let's see here, we'll just kind of keep picking until we find, but you'll find that again, ooh, that one actually does look good. You will find you'll get a little bit more interweaving of your two colors when you use a narrower double needle with your decorative stitches. And don't forget, when you want to turn off the twin needle function, go back into the settings, touch twin needle, and turn off all those settings, and you'll be back to normal.